In 2025, one of the most anticipated events that has the power to set trends, ignite conversations, and dominate global media is the upcoming Calvin Klein presentation at New York Fashion Week, NYFW. The return of Calvin Klein to the center of the fashion stage is already a headline-making development, but the speculation about one particular name has magnified the anticipation tenfold: Jungkook of BTS. As the official icon and face of Calvin Klein, Jungkook's potential appearance at this show has become more than a possibility. It has turned into a question that overshadows every other discussion in the fashion sphere. Will Jungkook grace the NYFW stage as Calvin Klein's main star? And if he does, will he deliver something unexpected that leaves ARMY and the broader public in awe? At the heart of this question lies not just the fashion world's curiosity, but also the undeniable cultural power that Jungkook carries. He is not merely a celebrity ambassador. He is a global figure whose presence shifts the dynamics of entire industries. His collaborations with Calvin Klein have already redefined how music icons merge with fashion, and every campaign featuring him has sparked record-breaking engagement across social platforms. The stakes for NYFW are, therefore, remarkably high. Calvin Klein may be preparing to showcase a new collection, but the buzz has been less about fabric and more about the man who might embody its message. The build-up to NYFW has been colored with excitement, but when Calvin Klein is involved, expectations move into another dimension. The brand has always thrived on boldness and minimalism, an aesthetic that relies on raw charisma rather than excessive embellishment. Jungkook, with his natural confidence and striking visuals, embodies the Calvin Klein ethos in a way that few others can. From his first campaign, where he dominated billboards in major cities, to his more recent appearances that blurred the lines between high fashion and music stardom, he has seamlessly stepped into the role of both muse and collaborator. This is why speculation about his attendance at NYFW feels inevitable. The whispers on social media platforms, fashion blogs, and entertainment outlets are not simply wondering if Calvin Klein will deliver a strong show. They're fixated on whether Jungkook will walk the runway, appear in the audience, or even deliver a live performance to merge fashion with music in an unprecedented spectacle. The very possibility of his presence has fueled global anticipation, with fans across continents making travel plans, creating hashtags, and tracking every Calvin Klein announcement with microscopic attention. ARMY, Jungkook's dedicated fanbase, is particularly invested. For them, the show is not just about a clothing line. It is about seeing their idol in yet another environment where he proves his versatility. The question, will Jungkook appear at NYFW as Calvin Klein's ultimate star, is one that carries both emotional weight and cultural significance. For many, the answer will define the narrative of the entire event. Calvin Klein has a long history of utilizing celebrity icons to elevate its campaigns. From Kate Moss to Justin Bieber, the brand understands the power of aligning itself with figures who embody youth, rebellion, and cultural relevance. Yet, the Jungkook partnership stands out as unique. Unlike many celebrity endorsements that feel transactional, this collaboration has evolved into a symbiotic relationship. Calvin Klein gains access to Jungkook's unparalleled global reach, while Jungkook himself steps deeper into the fashion world, proving his ability to dominate spaces far beyond music. This strategy reflects the modern state of fashion marketing. Clothes no longer sell themselves. They require narrative, personality, and global resonance. Jungkook provides all three. His campaigns with Calvin Klein have not only broken engagement records, but have also directly influenced consumer behavior. Limited editions sold out within hours. Digital campaigns became viral events, and Calvin Klein re-established itself as a brand not merely competing in fashion but leading cultural conversations. This is why NYFW feels like the logical next step. If Calvin Klein is to cement its dominance in the upcoming fashion cycle, unveiling Jungkook as the centerpiece would serve as both a marketing masterstroke and a cultural event. It would not simply be a runway. It would be a declaration that Calvin Klein remains at the forefront of global fashion, driven by the magnetism of one of the world's most influential stars. Speculation about Jungkook's presence is already generating momentum, but another layer to the discussion is what he might actually do at the event. Will he walk the runway as a model, marking his official debut in high fashion modeling? Will he attend as a seated guest, drawing attention with his presence alone? Or will he merge his artistry by delivering a surprise performance, blending music and fashion in a way that NYFW has rarely seen before? The possibility of a live performance is particularly intriguing. Jungkook has already proven his ability to dominate global stages, from award shows to solo appearances. Integrating that performance power into a Calvin Klein event would elevate the brand's show from a typical runway presentation into an unforgettable cultural moment. Imagine a runway where models walk to the rhythm of Jungkook's live vocals, merging Calvin Klein's sleek designs with the voice of a global superstar. Such a scenario would not only dominate fashion headlines but also secure Calvin Klein's spot at the center of pop culture history. ARMY, too, carries hope for something special. For fans, every appearance of Jungkook carries meaning beyond the obvious. It represents his growth, his willingness to expand into new fields, and his constant drive to deliver something unexpected. If NYFW becomes the stage where he surprises the world, it would not just be a win for Calvin Klein. It would be another milestone in Jungkook's already extraordinary career. It is rare for a single individual to become the focal point of an entire industry event. NYFW is usually about designers, collections, and trends. Yet in 2025, the conversation has shifted. Journalists, fashion analysts, and fans alike are openly acknowledging that Calvin Klein's show is essentially about one question: is Jungkook going to be there? This is a testament to his influence. Jungkook is not just a K-pop idol anymore. He has evolved into a global cultural icon whose impact extends across industries. His collaborations influence how brands design campaigns, how media outlets structure coverage, and how audiences engage with fashion. He is both the subject of the spectacle and the lens through which the spectacle is viewed. If Jungkook does appear, his presence could redefine the benchmarks for celebrity involvement in fashion weeks. Traditionally, stars have either walked runways or sat in front rows. Jungkook has the potential to merge those roles while also introducing a musical element, effectively rewriting the script of what fashion shows can be. If he does not appear, the disappointment would be palpable, not just for fans, but for the fashion industry itself, which now measures success not only in design but also in cultural relevance. This is why its return to New York Fashion Week, NYFW, carries such significance. The brand is not just reappearing for visibility, it is aiming to reclaim a space it once dominated. New York, as one of the fashion capitals of the world, offers the perfect backdrop for such a re-entry. The city represents diversity, boldness, and reinvention, all qualities Calvin Klein has historically embraced. But in today's oversaturated fashion market, simply returning is not enough. The brand needs a moment that will cut through the noise, dominate headlines, and remind the world why Calvin Klein still matters. Why Jungkook is Calvin Klein's trump card. The choice of Jungkook as Calvin Klein's global face was not a coincidence. It was a calculated decision rooted in understanding global culture. At the intersection of music, fashion, and digital influence, Jungkook exists as a rare figure who transcends demographics. He is young enough to resonate with Gen Z, established enough to appeal to millennials, and respected enough to reach broader audiences across different age groups and regions. His campaigns with Calvin Klein have demonstrated measurable impact. Social media impressions in the millions, sales spikes that broke internal records, and increased brand relevance among younger audiences all point to the fact that Jungkook is not just an ambassador. He is the driving force behind Calvin Klein's renewed dominance. For a brand looking to reignite its presence at NYFW, using its most valuable asset is not just expected, it is essential. The speculation about his attendance is, therefore, not just fan-driven wishful thinking. It is an anticipation rooted in logic. If Calvin Klein is to maximize its comeback moment, Jungkook's presence feels almost inevitable. The only uncertainty lies in the form it will take. Possible scenarios. How Jungkook might appear. The intrigue surrounding NYFW has grown because the possibilities are endless. Unlike typical brand ambassadors, Jungkook's range of talents allows Calvin Klein to experiment with multiple approaches. 3 scenarios stand out as the most discussed. The runway walk. If Jungkook takes to the runway, it would mark his official debut as a high-fashion model. His stage presence and ability to command attention are already proven in music, but transferring that energy to the runway would create a once-in-a-generation moment. The fashion world thrives on newness, and Jungkook walking as Calvin Klein's star model would instantly cement the brand's show as the highlight of NYFW. The front-row stare of a more traditional role could see Jungkook seated in the front row, dressed in the latest collection, becoming the centerpiece of media attention without needing to step onto the runway. Even in this capacity, his mere presence would overshadow other attendees, reinforcing Calvin Klein's ability to outshine competitors. Photographs of Jungkook in the front row would dominate global media coverage, and the digital ripple effect would extend Calvin Klein's impact well beyond fashion circles. The performer the most ambitious, and perhaps the most exciting, scenario would involve Jungkook blending his music with Calvin Klein's fashion show. A live performance integrated with the runway would transform the presentation into an unforgettable spectacle. Imagine models walking in synchronization with Jungkook's vocals, blending the rhythm of music with the rhythm of fashion. Such a move would redefine what fashion shows can be, elevating them from industry events to global cultural performances. Each scenario carries weight, and Calvin Klein could choose one, two, or even combine them. What unites them is the understanding that Jungkook's involvement, no matter the form, will dictate the narrative of the event. For ARMY, Jungkook's possible NYFW appearance carries a layer of emotional resonance beyond fashion. Fans have followed his journey from a teenager debuting as BTS's youngest member to a global superstar who is now shaping industries beyond music. Every milestone he achieves feels personal to them, as if they too are part of the journey. When Jungkook appears in Calvin Klein campaigns, ARMY does not just see clothes. They see validation of his growth, his influence, and his place in the world. An appearance at NYFW would extend that pride. It would not simply be about Calvin Klein. It would be about Jungkook stepping into a new space with the same confidence he has shown in music, proving once again that he can excel anywhere. The question of whether he will deliver a surprise adds another emotional layer. ARMY is accustomed to Jungkook's ability to go beyond expectations, whether in performances, interviews, or creative projects. If NYFW becomes a stage where he unveils something unexpected, be it a new collaboration, a live performance, or even just a daring new style, it would feel like a gift to fans who are always waiting for the next chapter in his story. From the brand's perspective, centering its NYFW comeback around Jungkook is both a risk and a reward. The reward is clear: massive global attention, record-breaking coverage, and cultural dominance. Yet, the risk lies in over-reliance. By tying the narrative so strongly to one individual, Calvin Klein must ensure that everything about Jungkook's appearance, from styling to staging, matches the weight of expectation. Fashion history is filled with moments where celebrity involvement either elevated a show into legend or overshadowed the designs themselves. Calvin Klein must strike a balance, using Jungkook as the magnet for attention while ensuring the collection itself speaks powerfully enough to hold the spotlight once the initial frenzy fades. If executed well, the brand will not only ride Jungkook's star power but also solidify its position as a leader in the fusion of fashion and celebrity culture. Fashion journalists and industry analysts are already weighing in. Coverage leading up to NYFW often focuses on anticipated collections, but this year, many headlines explicitly mention Jungkook alongside Calvin Klein. The speculation is treated as serious news, not just entertainment gossip. This shift indicates how the boundaries between fashion reporting and celebrity culture have blurred, with Jungkook at the center of that overlap. For the industry, his potential involvement is being analyzed not just as a marketing move, but as a case study in modern brand strategy. If Calvin Klein can successfully harness Jungkook's influence, it will provide a blueprint for how legacy fashion houses can adapt to an era where digital presence and fan culture hold as much weight as traditional design credentials. Jungkook's possible role in NYFW also carries cultural implications beyond fashion itself. It represents the increasing integration of K-pop into global industries. Once considered a niche phenomenon, K-pop is now central to global pop culture, and Jungkook's presence at NYFW would symbolize how deeply it has permeated spaces that were once dominated by Western figures. It also reflects the power shift in celebrity culture. Traditionally, Fashion Week relied on Hollywood stars or supermodels to generate excitement. In 2025, the most talked about figure is a South Korean musician whose global reach surpasses most traditional celebrities. This shift underscores the way fandoms, digital platforms, and music culture are redefining the hierarchy of influence.